So you want to start learning a language, but you don't know where to start. Well, I've already outlined the three main tasks or the three pillars of language learning, which are conversation practice, comprehensible input, and focused vocabulary acquisition. But if you're brand new to language learning, you might not know where to jump in and get started with those things. Or you might be a little bit intimidated with jumping right into more of an immersion style language learning. And that's okay. That's why there's what I call task zero. It's not one of the three main tasks, but it's a way of getting into language learning and just dipping your feet in, just getting started and getting yourself on the right path until you can start getting more involved in the three main pillars of language learning. Now, I want to stress that this part of the process is optional and it's only for absolute beginners. Don't start jumping in on task zero if you're already part of the way through the process of becoming fluent in your language. That's not what this is here for. It's not for you. But basically, all task zero is finding a systematic approach. It's usually an app, but it could also just be a class or even a TV series, something that's systematic and it starts you off from absolute zero. A system that assumes you know nothing about the language that you're learning. And then from there, it gradually and slowly starts to teach you little by little. And it just gives you a sort of direction at the very beginning when you don't know where to go. And for some people, especially if you're brand new to languages and you've never learned another language before, this can be a lot more comfortable than jumping right into trying to have conversations. And you're like, well, I don't even know how I can have a conversation. I don't know any words yet. It's a lot more comfortable than going straight into immersion with comprehensible input when you're just watching TV shows and you don't really understand any of the words that they're saying in the show because you haven't learned how to find the right content for you. That's fine. I understand some people have never learned a language before and they're just not ready for that. That's what task zero is here for. So some examples of this could be, probably the most common one would be a class at school, right? You go to class. It's certainly not a very effective way of learning a language. Most of us have gone to numerous semesters of language classes in school, and we made it through maybe even years of school and never learned the language. Not very effective, but it is a way to just get you started. One of the programs that I really like for task zero is Pimsleur, which is an audio CD course, or you can also get digital downloads of it now. I like to listen to Pimsleur while I'm in the car driving. Especially when you're first starting, I think Pimsleur is a great way to start off because they do a really good job of assuming you know nothing. They start you off from absolute zero and then they help you work up slowly. All right, another one could be Duolingo or Rosetta Stone, anything like that that'll just get you started from, just from scratch. But the main thing to remember about task zero is that this is not one of the three main tasks. It's not a pillar of language learning, okay? So if we use the metaphor of building a structure, okay, the three pillars, conversation practice, comprehensible input, vocabulary acquisition, these three pillars are going to hold up the structure of your language, okay? They are integral to the language that you're learning. Task zero is not integral. This is like the decorations. Think of it as maybe the bushes around the structure that you're building, or possibly even the path leading up to the structure. You don't need all of this stuff to support the structure itself, but it can just kind of guide you. So when you're doing task zero, don't get into the mindset that you're going to keep doing this forever. Actually, right when you first start task zero, you should probably tell yourself, this is temporary. This is only to get me started on the right track. Just when I don't know exactly what to do, I'm gonna start doing the three main pillars, which is where my main language learning will occur. And then you should tell yourself, you should pre-commit to giving up on task zero after maybe no more than 3 months. And the reason for that is that because task zero often becomes a crutch for a lot of people. So they get started doing Duolingo and they see their streak count going up, and then once you get to 100 days of your streak, it's really hard for some people to give that up. But I just want to encourage you that a streak is not worth anything. So don't worry about that. That's why I say pre-commit to giving up on task 0 early on and then transitioning into the 3 main tasks of language learning.